Hey guys, this is Ash and you're watching WriterGAsh. So today I'm doing a flip through of my Orilium Spring Equinox bullet journal. Well, right now it's just the Spring Equinox, but this is gonna be my entire novice year. I had initially hoped to have all 4 years here, but I'm halfway through, as you can see, and I've only gone through the Spring Equinox. So I'm excited to see what else happens. I know G has mentioned for the Magical Readathon, while we have our Autumn Equinox in August, we might get some middle of the semester shenanigans in between the 2 semesters. So I'm excited to see what happens. I am hoping for a few quests so my character can go up a few more rungs and maybe enter the next guild level, I guess. But yeah, I am excited for you to see what I've done for the Spring Equinox. I have taken some inspiration from some awesome people on the Discord who've posted their spreads on the Scribe Tower channel on Discord. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the flip through. So, this is my novice year journal. So I want to show you guys my Spring Equinox for my novice year spreads. Without further ado, let's get into this. Alright, so this is the intro spread. It's exactly similar to my Orilium Magical Readathon basic journal, like the first journal. I'm gonna keep this consistent between all of my journals. And I'm also gonna keep the header pages consistent. So this is Spring Year 1, and the reason I didn't do Spring Equinox is because I put in some information for before the Equinox, since technically the Equinox is just the examination period. I did a little bio page here with my character's name, Ashlyn Monterre Glowdew, House of Arcane Mindmender, which I decided on a calling. She's a novice from an urban setting from Carador, is an air and fire earthling, and then she was born under a blood moon. The next spread I have is a spread on the Mindmenders. I basically used a sheet that G uploaded for the Mindmenders and created this, just cut out pieces. I included the classes that Mindmenders are required to take for the Spring Equinox, key traits, and all of that. And then I have my schedule and then syllabus. So syllabus was technically for the actual Spring Equinox, so like the examination. It's technically just the reading prompts. And I ended up with initially only planning on reading for these classes on the schedule right here, but I ended up reading for every single class on the syllabus, and you'll see that soon. But I really love how this schedule turned out. I'm like, this is a school setting, and what have I always had? A schedule. I'm still in college and I still use schedules, so I really enjoyed making this. I used Canva to make this, and then this is from the things that G uploaded. Alright, so this I created to keep track of all of the classes I read for. Initially, I have mentioned before that I was stuck between Mindmender, Mage Hunter, and Illusionist Rogue, and I wasn't sure which one I really wanted to do, but even though I had decided on Mindmender at the start of April, I decided to read for all. So I've got all of the classes, and then I've got School of Magic, so the classes, course focus, prompts, and then the books I read, and then the calling I read it for. There were a couple that overlap between multiple callings right here, but everything else I just had to read. And then at the end of the month, I was like, oh, I still have books I could read, and I've got quite a bit of time. So I created an extra credit thing, and I read for 5 more classes, making it a even 14. Alright, so the next spread begins the adventure board. So the Wild Moon Inn is where the adventure board is. The Wild Moon Inn is a channel on the Discord, and that's where G posted all the quests, and I completed 14 quests, as you can see. Try to give it a tavern-y look. With that was, I didn't know how else to do it. And I created a page for every single quest I completed, and this is what I did for the quest. I took the quest images that G uploaded, and then I just wrote down the books I read for it. So I started with Arc by stealing it off someone's TBR. I read Apprentice in Death. I read a lot of in-depth books over the month of April. And then I read Dead on It, Echoes in Death, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, Heartstopper. I read, oh, I missed 2 pages. Secret in Death, Heartstopper Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is a manga I read. It's I Married My Best Friend to Shut my parents up. And then I read A Million Quiet Revolutions, Dark in Death, being my final quest book before I return to reading for classes again. And this is like a report card I created. It's got all of the classes I read for on one page, and these are here I only included the courses I needed to read for Mind Menders, and every other class is here. These are the classes I ended up reading at the end of the month. These are the classes I read as extra because they were part of other callings I was considering. These are all of the quests that were available for everyone except for the Patreon members, because Patreon members, I later learned, had extra quests they could do. So I just have the ones that were like publicly available because I'd made it before she had uploaded the file with every quest. So I would have written everything down just so it would have like more blank ones. But I like how it turned out. I just filled in everything I read for. And then I also did a Guild Wars page. As you know, there was a guild war going on for the spring equinox, and each guild member participated in quizzes to get points, read books, and all of that. And then the winning guild got a special quest. And I am part of the House of the Arcane, and as part of the House of Arcane, I got an extra exclusive quiz that I have to finish reading by the month of August. So I'm already reading this book, and I'm finally getting into it, so I'm really excited. I'm reading Beyond the Flames for this one because it's supposed to be a high stakes book, and I confirmed with people who have read it, they do consider it a high stakes book. Anyway, let's come back here. So for the Guild War, I kind of went with the format G had on her YouTube video with the flags, with the banners and the points written on the banners. So I noted down the point for everything and then tallied it up there. So for quiz, House of the Arcane had 300, Crescent had 110, Mind Walkers had 160, and Archivists had 110. For a number of books read, the most books were read by House of the Order of the Crescent, who honestly have the most amount of members, so obviously they read more, but they got 200 points. And then my guild got 150. We have the second most members, obviously that's how it would pan out, followed by the Archivist and then the Mind Walker. And then for the average pages read, which I think was really good thing for them to do, because otherwise there would be an unfair advantage for the guild that has the most members. The Mind Walkers got 200, the Arcane got 150, Archivists got 100, and then Crescent got 50. And then honor students also got points for their respective guilds. So there were 3 honor students in my guild, the students that read the most amount of books. So the most amount of books were read were 48 books. I don't know how they did it. It's not even that how they read 48 books. How did they have 48 prompts to fill? Like, how many quests did they win? Like, it's fantastic they did it, and we got 100 points from it. The next person read 31 books, and it also got us another 100 points. And then the next read 30 books, which I did read 30 books that month. I just only logged 28 because I didn't have any other prompts to fill the rest with. And then that got our guild another 100. And then Order of the Crescent had a student who read the longest book, which they received 100 points for. And then we won and got our extra quest. Anyway, the next thing I did was throughout I've got the other thing. It's like the whole readathon wrap up, not counting just the guilds. So first I noted down how many books each guild read, how many pages each guild read, and what was the average page read per book for each guild, and then the total of those things. So like we are like during the Orilium readathon, we logged a total of 21,231 books and read 6,375,575 pages with 300.3 pages average per book. And then the most read book was Galatea with 101 people reading that. Sorry, 111 people reading that. Followed by Gallant with 108 people reading that. And then Lore Olympus, which I also read, with 80 people reading that. And then total classes, like the books read for the classes, there were a total of 16,680 books read for the classes collectively. And then 4,551 books read for the quest collectively. As you can see by all of these numbers, I love stats. I'm a psychologist, research based, and stats is my favorite thing. I love messing with numbers because it's just so fun. Okay, the other thing I did is I wrote down a story for my characters' time during the spring equinox and kind of before. So spring equinox is technically their exam season, right? And I wanted to kind of write about her time like before the equinox. I've got like spring, not this year, and just everything that happened with her before the equinox began, how she met her friends, etc. And then the spring equinox is just a lot of them are like, oh, she studied for this exam and then they gave this exam, it went well. And I just like kind of, this is me putting it in order of how I read different things, and also have like storylines happen with my character, for like her and her friends going on quests, her and her brother going on quests, and learning about like the quests that their little group went on. Kind of like a fun little story time. I've got like 20 pages of these stories, so I don't want to flip through each and every one of them and waste your time, but that's it. I have considered maybe doing one last spread, kind of writing down the books I read for this, but I already do that here with each quest, and then here with each of the classes, which I don't think I mentioned. So let's take a look at this. For alchemy, I read Crown of Midnight. For art of illusion, I read Throne of Glass. For conjuration, I read Kingdom of Ash. For demonology, I read Queen of Shadows. Elemental studies, I read Wonderment and Death. Assassin's Blade, I read for spells and incantations, I read Assassin's Blade. For psionics and divination, I read Brotherhood and Death. For restoration, I read Air of Fire. For shapeshifting, I read Sweet Hand. And then for the extra credit courses, for animal studies, I read Heartstopper, the mini comics. For astronomy, I read Nick and Charlie. It's a novella written by the author of the Heartstopper. Artificery, I read Winter, like a mini novel written by the author of the Heartstopper. Inscription, it's like a spin-off novel written by the author of the Heartstopper. It's about Charlie's sister, which I read for Inscription. And then finally for lore, I read Lore Olympus, and I have gotten really into Lore Olympus. I'm waiting for a new chapter every single Sunday, and it's just so agonizing. I'm really enjoying it, despite the fact that there's a lot of things about it that piss me off. I've come to start to enjoy it, which is weird. Anyway, so I think because of that, I might just skip on creating a spread at the end and just call it good with what I have. But that is it for my journal for the spring equinox. As you can see, I've got a lot of spreads for the spring equinox, and I hope you guys liked what I did with it, and I hope you guys participated in the spring equinox and had fun, because it was one of the best readathons I've ever done. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the flip through. I am super proud of how this turned out, and it was the most amazing readathon I've ever participated in. I absolutely loved every minute of it. I was so immersed in it, and I've just like fallen in love with my character and her story, and I am so excited to share her with everyone. So that is it, and I hope you enjoyed a little peek at my spring equinox.